The next level of rarity for the hit game, the best game, Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. This video will definitely follow a more structured approach compared to my normal style of content. So if you like this style, go ahead and let me know. Give me some feedback. I wouldn't mind doing more videos like this for you in the future. And on top of that, the point of this video is for it to be more of a conversational, discussion piece. So I'm going to bring up multiple topics, and I genuinely want you to let me know if you agree, if you disagree, or just give me your honest opinions about each topic I bring up. If you're someone who usually comments like under my videos, I'm always under my comments, reading my comments. So it's like I when I say I really want to hear what you say, I genuinely really want to hear what you have to say. So please, I don't care how silly you think the idea is, just let it all out in the comments and I'll give you my honest thoughts on your opinions as well. Now I just want to go ahead and say I know people are going to bring up the fact of Carnival LRs technically being that new rarity of character. And while I can agree, right, that it definitely has introduced a new leader skill meta, if you will, right, the first characters ever to introduce a flat 200% buff, at the end of the day, it's still only an LR, right? That's what I'm trying to get at here. It's great that we have, a new rarity, or not a new rarity, sorry, a new, or I guess a higher echelon of leader skill meta, if you will, but it's still an LR. And the topic of today's video is the next rarity. So unfortunately, Carnival LRs do not count, but I could see why people would say, or I can already hear the comments or see the comments under this video saying something like Carnival LRs are technically the new rarity, so I don't think we'd get one. Let's just forget that for like 2 seconds, okay? All right. Now, the first topic I want to get into is, how likely is it that Dokkan will actually add a new rarity? And I feel like there's a few different factors when it comes to trying to answer this question. One is obviously, how long Dokkan has actually been a thing for. We're actually approaching the 8th year anniversary, the 8th anniversary of Dokkan. And when you consider that it's been running for almost 8 years, and on top of that, there's no signs of slowing down, I feel like it gives this game, I feel like, so much potential, so much life, so many more years of operation. And obviously, the longer this game operates, it's like a hand-in-hand relationship, right? The more this, or the longer this game operates, the more LRs we're obviously going to see in the game. Look at all these LRs in the game, right? The longer this game runs for, the more LRs we're going to see, and the more LRs we get, I feel like the more saturated the pool of LRs become, and the less hype a new LR release becomes. And if Dokkan wants to capitalize on hype, which we know it does, I think at some point down the road, it could be 3, 4, 5 years from now, but some point down the road, if they really want to capitalize off the hype, introducing a new rarity makes a lot of sense to me. And 3, 4, 5 years doesn't seem undoable for Dokkan. We know that the manga's still going. We need a lot of characters from the manga, right? I think the anime is actually rumored to be coming back soon, so that's a lot of Dokkan content right there. The Dokkan movies are still, not Dokkan movies, sorry, Dragon Ball films are still being produced, which gives us a lot of content as well. Like, Dragon Ball is endless, and because of that, Dokkan, as long as they keep the game, healthy, is technically endless as well. So again, when you factor the fact that Dokkan has, at least in my opinion, maybe you disagree, but if Dokkan still has a long time left, and we know that the more of something we get, this is just natural, right? The more of something you receive, the less likely you are to be hype about it every single time you receive it, right? I think that's just natural. Everything, I think my point is, I think everyone feels like that at some point, right? So LRs are less hyped today than what they were obviously 4 or 5 years ago, which also brings me to my next point. The first LR we ever got was 2016, so we haven't had a new rarity since it's been like 6 years. So when you factor all this type of stuff, I think the answer to the question is I would say there's a good chance, I would say it is likely, that Dokkan will add a new rarity, given the fact that Dokkan will not go anywhere anytime soon. There's a lot of content still dropping, or to be, and dude, we still need so many, like, LR Ultimate Gohan needs to be a thing. People are saying that there's nothing to, there's no, I see a lot of arguments saying that, you know, they're running out of characters to release, or they're running out of things they can possibly do. But it's like, where's LR Ultimate Gohan? Where's LR Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks? Where's our LR God Vegeta? Right? We have God Goku, but tell me, where's God Vegeta? Right? Where is that Dokkan Fest? I will not let you destroy my world, Goku. Where is Hakai Beerus? I don't see Hakai Beerus. Do you see Hakai Beerus? I don't see Hakai Beerus. Right? Where's LR Kid Buu? Where is our LR just straight up corrupt Mergemasu? Where is our standalone Gogeta Blue? We don't even, it's been almost 8 years and we don't have a single standalone Gogeta Blue in this game. There is still so much for Dokkan to implement, which again gives us so much life, which in turn makes the list of LRs get longer and longer, which makes each release get slightly less hype, which means that Dokkan at some point will have to do something to increase that hype, and I think adding a new rarity would be the way to go. That is my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. The next topic I want to add or talk about here is what would they call the new rarity? And personally, that's what you see on the title, or I guess the thumbnail of the video. I think Z is a perfect name for the rarity. Let me know what you would personally call it. The reason why I think Z works so well is because it's Dragon Ball Z. Everything is centered around, I think, that there's a lot of references of Z in Dokkan in and of itself, or I guess in, you know, Dokkan. And also you have to ask yourself, right, when it comes to LRs, what is, unless I'm mistaken, I believe LR stands for legendary power, right? So what word could you possibly come up with that would top the word because again, it has to be, like, legendary is higher than ultra, and ultra is higher than super, hence the SR, UR, and LR, right? So you would need a letter or a name or something, if they're following, or if we're keeping up with the trend, that says, okay, I am higher than an LR. And I think Z does that perfectly. And also because there's a word that's called, or there's something called Zenith, right? And Zenith basically means, unless I'm misremembering, Zenith means like the highest of high that anything could ever get to, like the strongest anything could ever become. And that perfectly, I think, speaks to what, so maybe it's like ZR or Z. I just think I think Z by itself is, could you imagine a character that looks like this but just says Z, and Z there, I think would look absolutely clean. I don't know, I think aesthetically looks clean. It makes a lot of sense Zenith wise, right? And the fact that it's Dragon Ball Z, like the highest echelon of power being Z, makes a lot of sense. Also in Dragon Ball Legends, the highest tier of equipment is Z and Z plus. So I think that you can make arguments for other things, but I don't really know, unless you come up with something obviously better, because I'm not saying my idea are that, I wouldn't even call this my idea. I'm pretty sure other people have said this in the past. I'm just saying I've also thought of this as well. So I think this idea would be the best one, but again, let me know what you personally think. I see a lot of people saying things like SLR. I don't really know how I feel about SLR, or like XR or GR. I've also seen people say things like TLR, and I'm gonna say this right now, TLR doesn't really make much sense, and the reason why is because I think where TLR comes from is how we have TUR. But remember that a TUR is just a transcended UR, but it's still a UR. So for example, I have this Goku pulled up here, and this Goku is a UR. Well, he's an SSR, right? But you awaken him into a UR. This is his new rarity, ultra rare. But what a TUR is when you awaken this character again, you increase their level cap, and you change their art and increased cost, all that good stuff, and just upgrade the overall passive and abilities here, right? So you end up with UI Goku again. He's still a UR, but his stuff is obviously upgraded, which makes him a UR, but a transcended. That's where the name transcended UR comes from. It's still a UR, but it's just transcended. The art changes, all that good stuff. So for something to, for a TLR to exist, you would have to have like an L, again, just basing off of this logic here, you would have to have an LR who awakens, has a new art, higher cost maybe, I don't know, you know, higher level, whatever the case is, and then that's what we would call a TLR, an LR that transcends their normal LR limits, if that makes sense. So TLR makes sense for the next evolution of LR itself, but not necessarily a new rarity, right? Because TLR is still an LR, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just want to go ahead and cover that. But personally, I think Z would be the best way to go here. Let me know what you think. Let's move on to the next topic here, our next, conversational piece, which is how would you actually obtain this character? Now, this brings me all the way back to the OG days of Dokkan, where we had the first ever LR, right, 2016, with the Prime Battle LR Goku. Now, it's very important to note that the first LR ever was completely free to play. So I think that they would follow suit and make the new, let's again just assume Z for this, you know, let's just call it Z for this video. You can call it whatever you want, but let's say I think that they would make the new Z character, the new Rarity character, a free-to-play character, even if it's like for the first, you know, 2-3 characters. Same thing that Legends did with Ultra characters, right? Ultra characters had there was Ultras, Namek Goku, Ultra, you know, Fireworks Vegeta, and Ultra Shenron before they actually released summonable ones. So eventually we would get summonable Z characters, but for right now, I think, when I say right now, I'm saying in the pretense of this video, or in the world or realm of this video, I think they would release a few versions of this rarity first as free before they introduce them in any type of banner format, whatever the case may be. So I think they would be free to play first, right? And then when it comes to actually obtaining them, I could see it working very similarly to how Prime Battles work, except there's a catch. So right now, to obtain a Prime Battle LR, you're only allowed to use free-to-play characters that drop from like story events. So you don't see LR STR Vegito Blue here, for example, because he doesn't drop from a story event. He drops from missions. He's in the Baba Shop, but that just makes sense there. He's from the Baba Shop, right? I was gonna say his missions are from the quest mode, but he's literally from the Baba Shop. He doesn't drop from a specific event. So that's that, I guess. But yeah, so you only have characters who are, you know, obtainable from story events. And I remember back in the day, if you know, you know, right? 16 and Chilled were just goats in this event, right? I remember 16 was the goat for defense. And if you got enough in orbs, Chilled was just the goat for offensive purposes. But that's besides the point. I think that if they're going to release a new rarity, the minimum rarity requirement to take on this event would be LR. And to be more specific, free to play LR. I could very easily see that they require free to play LRs to beat the event. And there's many free to play LRs in Dokkan. This does not show all of them. We still have ones from World Tournament, ones from the Baba Shop, as well as, I'm trying to think of the last one, Battlefield and what's it called, dude, my brain, and Friend Summons. There you go. So there's more free-to-play LRs than what you're seeing right here. But my point here, my point is basically, please grind up your free-to-play LRs, please, just to easy A this Goku here. You actually need a very specific set of characters, all of which have to be rainbowed, easy-a'd, all of that good stuff. So if they're requiring you to have very specific easy-a'd rainbow free-to-play characters just to easy-a an LR, a free-to-play LR, could you imagine what they would require from you for a new rarity unit? I think, again, maybe they go even one step further and say you need to have a rainbowed easy-a'd LR, free-to-play LR, obviously, right? Again, grind your free-to-play LRs, please. Every single free-to-play character in this game is absolutely worth the grind. You never know when one of these characters are going to be required to complete some very specific mission or whatever the case may be, which is completely fine because these are free characters. There's no reason why, you know, we shouldn't be having these characters in your box. So just keep that in mind. Whenever they become available, please get them done. You just never ever know. And also, it does give you more options for certain team building, whatever the case may be. But I'm telling you, when your favorite character, let's say your favorite character is Yamcha. I don't really know how many of you out there actually, you know, like Yamcha, but let's say your favorite character is Yamcha, and Yamcha gets, you know, he is the first character to receive the new, you know, rarity units, like a new Z Yamcha. And like, he's your favorite character of all time, but you need like every free-to-play like, where's baseball Yamcha? Where's this? You need baseball Yamcha rainbowed. Take him on. This is one of the most annoying grinds in the game, by the way. But if you need him rainbowed, maxed out, all that good stuff, you just never know. You just never. I know it's very unlikely, but you just never ever know. And before we speak about what's unlikely or not, keep in mind that Yamcha does have an LR before Kid Buu. Just keep that in mind, all right? Before you you know, doubt me or anything I'm saying here. So yes, I think that they will be free to play I think it makes sense that they're free to play at first, and I also believe that we will see, you know, them be obtainable from an event like Prime Battle LRs, but have much stricter requirements compared to Prime Battle LR. So keep that in mind. And then last but not least, for the sake of this video, I wanted to talk about what would make, you know, a Z character, for the sake of this video, right? A character actually unique. Which I think is actually pretty tough to discuss because I don't really know. This is something that I was kind of like thinking about before recording, and I still don't really know, right? Now, keep in mind that what makes an LR unique over a TUR? A few things, right? Like the level cap is 150. No character in the game can get to that, obviously, because it's, you know, specific to LRs. SA cap is 20, but I mean, you know, free-to-play Super Strike units are getting to that level now, so it doesn't really mean too much. 2 super attack effects, which obviously don't really mean too much because, you know, TURs now have unit super attacks, so they can have multiple super. Pan has like 10 unit super attacks, so again, nothing too crazy there. But also, you know, just the ability to have, you know, up to 24 key, which I think is a pretty big thing for honestly, I think seeing a character in Dokkan past that 12 key limit into the 24, you know, key, I think it's actually pretty hype. I think it's actually underrated how hype it is when you're sitting there playing with your rotations and you see a character get all of that key. It feels mega powerful. So I don't know how they would incorporate that effect into a new rarity. Like, would they make it, would the max be, let's just go one by one here. So maybe the level is like 177 maybe for Z. I don't really know. SA cap, I'm thinking 30, even though 30 seems like a weird number. 25 makes sense, but 25 we already have with EZ8 LR, so I don't really know what route they choose to go down for that. When it comes to leader skills, would they have anything unique? I don't know. Maybe a lot of key and like some stat. I don't know what they do, man. I don't know. I don't know what they can do for leaders that are actually unique. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that. Super attack effects. Would they have like a 36 key super attack, ultra super attack, and then like a Z super? I don't really know how that would work. It's a little weird to think about, right? But I don't know. I guess technically it could be possible, right? Passive skill. I don't know. What could they do? Honestly, I did pull this up just in case, but Legends has not the new, but an ultra rarity, and they do have something called an ultra. Every ultra has an ultra ability, right? So there's nothing like that really in Dokkan. So maybe, I mean, the only extremely unique thing about an LR is that LRs have the legendary power link. That's really it. But there's no ability that is like restricted to LRs besides maybe having the 18 key. But you know, yeah, I think you can see what I'm trying to say here. There's nothing like that's, you know, so because of that, maybe characters get like a Z ability or maybe like a Z skill, because it's go by skills, I guess. And maybe the Z skill could be like, maybe like, okay, have 3 links active and you get like an extra boost of this, extra boost of that. Maybe the Z skill, maybe it takes away some of the enemy's debuffs, right? Because, you know, sometimes enemies can't dodge. Or sorry, sometimes enemies don't allow you to dodge. Sometimes enemies don't allow you to switch your rotations. They lock you in place. They lower your attack and defense, whatever the case may be. What if like a Z skill was an ability to, after X amount of hits taken or X amount of super attack is done, or whatever the requirement is, once you fulfill it, maybe it's something like, okay, you know, disables all enemies debuffing effects, if you will. Or okay, sometimes in SBR and ESBR you can stun and whatnot, but in events like Legendary Goku event, the GT version, you know, Red Zone, you can't dodge, obviously, you can't stun, sometimes you can't steal. So what if it just took all of that away? What if you were now allowed to stun, allowed to seal? But of course the Z skill took quite a bit to build up. Maybe you had to take like 1 million damage in total for it to build up. Or again, I don't really know how it would work, but a skill that, because every character in Dokkan has a leader skill of some sort, super attack, passive skill, links, and categories. So there's nothing unique here about in terms of skills and whatnot. Again, you can argue this, but characters have TURs and whatever have their own version of this, which is basically the unit super attack. So there's nothing, you know, kit wise that it's like, okay, only LRs have this, similar to how in Legends only ultras have an ultra ability. So let me know what you guys think about that. I think that maybe could be a very unique selling point. Maybe it's something where it's like after it builds up and after you get it activated, it just completely changes the tide of battle. Maybe it's like a multi-turn support. So a unit like, let me actually see if I can pull up the character here. I don't think they're on Future. Maybe Battle of Fate. Let me see. I wanted to pull up STR. What categories STR Bardock and Gine on, actually? Let me go to Goku's family and just pull it up here. Goku's family here. I guess it wouldn't make sense that they're on Battle of Fate, but where is STR Bardock and Gine? Bardock and Gine. Here we go. So this character has a 2-turn active skill support. So once you use their active skill, they give all allies 22% attack for 2 turns, right? So what if Z skills were like just a permanent, you know, like a permanent support, but not just a support for your rotation, but a support for the entire team no matter what rotation you're on, like a multi-dimensional support, or I don't know what you would call it. So maybe, you know, we got like a Z Gogeta, and he gave all allies every second of the fight 3 key and 50% to defense. So even if you're on a different rotation, those allies that you have on your team are still getting buffed by that Z. That's a pretty strong ability if you ask me. So basically just powered up supports, powered up healing effects, maybe, whatever the case is. Something that makes, you know, these characters change the tide of battle, whether they're free to play or not. And that's what I think could make a character completely unique, or I guess a new Rarity character completely unique. But again, let me know what you think. Let me know, honestly, you know, how likely do you think it is for Dokkan to add a new Rarity? What do you think they would call that new Rarity? How would you have it so that people could obtain this new Rarity before they actually summon for it? And what do you think would make for a good unique skill, or a good something unique about a new Rarity character? Let me know what you think. I'm actually very excited to hear what you personally have to say. Thank you for supporting me as always. We are on the road to 60K, so you know, consider subscribing if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and peace.